forgot to do this the other night. Then I opened it and I got really, really excited because I realized that I am much more like I learn better that way. I learn better by someone asking me questions and then me having to answer them, and then it kind of giving me an idea of whatever it is I'm looking for. Like our color personality quizzes, I was able to learn what type of personality I was by taking that quiz. So the very beginning of this workbook, he's asking questions that help you figure out what areas of leadership you have to work on. And a lot of people, when they come to you, no matter what rank you are, when your leaders, your promoters come to you, they're asking you, what can I do more of? What do I need to do? I want to be better, but I don't know what to do, that kind of thing. Courtney has like a super serious face. I wonder if she's taking the assessment. You see her face? She's like, so serious. This is going to be a very, very cool way to help your leaders. If you want to get into it, I will likely be utilizing this for just about any and every future one-on-one that I do. I am probably going to pull this out. This is going to be my leadership Bible. I'm going to go through and we will take the assessment together because I think it's a good idea to regularly assess yourself. Just like in a regular workplace, when you do, I never stayed at any job long enough to have to do assessments, but I hear they do those type of things at the regular workplaces. Stephanie's nodding. So someone knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is one of those situations where you can regularly assess yourself. And the trick is being honest with yourself and with the person that you're doing the one-on-one with, right? So I just opened mine and started taking the little test. And as you can see, I've got like, well, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got numbers, little red numbers everywhere. So you are going to want to write, the scale is 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0 is never. 1 is rarely. 2 is occasionally. And 3 is always. Also, I don't typically do these type of Zooms, so I don't know how fast to talk and how much time to put in between certain things. This is usually Courtney's thing, but I got this before she did. So she was like, oh, guess what you get to do? And I was like, shit. So here we are. Does anybody need me to repeat that, or I saw a few people wrote it? Okay. So the first one is the law of the lid. Leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. The first question, and what you do is you rate each one. Yeah, so Courtney shared the assessment in the chat. If anybody wants to pull it up, you can. But the first question, you again rate it 0 through 3. When faced with a challenge, my first thought is, who can I enlist to help, not what can I do? So in an effort to be honest with myself, I put occasionally. I do not always do this. Sometimes I'm like, oh crap, I need to get in touch with Courtney. I need to get in touch with Tracy. So my initial response will sometimes be, okay, how can I get someone else to help me with this versus how can I do this by myself? And then, so I can repeat the question if you guys haven't pulled up the assessment yet, but it's, when faced with a challenge, my first thought is, who can I enlist to help, not what can I do? So again, I gave myself a 2 for that. The next one is, when my team, department, or organization fails to achieve an objective, my first assumption is that it's some kind of leadership issue. I put 2. Because I do feel like it is very much a monkey see, monkey do type of, I mean, we're in that type of business where your team is going to follow the leader. And so if there's some sort of failure within your organization, then there is a good chance that it can be on the leader. So I'm not going to say that it is always, but I will say that that is why I put occasionally, because I will say that every now and then it can be a leadership thing. Which is why it's a really good idea to do self-reflection and look at how you can evaluate not only yourself, but maybe your leaders and do a one-on-one. The third question, I believe that developing my leadership skills will increase my effectiveness dramatically. I put 3, and if I could have rated that higher, I would have, because I feel like that's obvious. If anybody puts something less than 3, then you're probably lying to yourself, because like obviously developing your own leadership skills is going to increase your effectiveness as a leader. Reading books, doing getting on Zooms, listening to trainings, workshops, workbooks, whatever the case might be, sharpening your leadership skills is obviously going to dramatically increase the quality of leadership that you bring to the table. So at the end, you're going to put the total for that number. And so I'm going to just get to, because there's a lot of questions. There's 21 questions, obviously. It's the 21 laws of leadership. The last one, Haley. I believe that developing my leadership skills will increase my effectiveness dramatically. It's okay. If you scroll up in the chat, you may be able to pull up the PDF for the quiz. Yeah, and I would definitely save the assessment for later on. Like I said, do these one-on-one with your teams, so on and so forth. So I probably won't go through all 21. I might do a couple more just to give you guys an idea and just to do this with you. But so at the end, it tells you based on what your total is for each little section, each law. Again, there's 21 laws. So for each law, you're giving yourself a grade. So 8 to 9, this law is in your strength zone. Make the most of this skill and mentor others in this area. The more you mentor others in this area, the strong, it doesn't say this, I'm just saying this, but the more you mentor others in that area that you are strong in, the stronger you're going to be. And then you're duplicating. So they're going to become strong in that area. And then they're going to share with someone. And okay, hang on, my timer's going on.
It's basically what we always say, where the best way to become a better teacher, the best way to become a better student is to become a better teacher. So the best way to learn a subject and to perfect a subject is to teach on it. That's often why in school they have you do presentations or book reports or presentations to the class, is because it helps you and basically forces you to remember things more than if you were to just take a test on it or write something on it and pass it in. You'll forget it. But I guarantee you can probably recall a presentation or a book report you gave in front of the class, because you probably had to like extra prepare for it. So that's kind of what it is. It's like the best way to learn something and perfect something is to teach it.
That page. Sorry, I had to get the casserole off the oven. So if you grade that law 5 to 7, target this law for growth. You have potential to make it a strength. I don't know if she just went over all of this. You didn't do this, Courtney. Okay. So target this law for growth. You have potential to make it a strength. So if it's not quite an 8, or if it's not quite an 8 or a 9, then focus on that area a little more. Maybe start teaching it a little bit more in order to grow, but definitely work on it, because it can be a strength. You're just like, you're so close. 0 to 4, this area is a weakness. Hire staff with this strength or partner with others in this area. So what I have noticed before even getting this book, the areas that I struggled in, my leadership skills, Courtney was very strong in. And the closer I got to Courtney, the stronger I became in those areas. It sort of worked out that way, even before I knew what those areas were. Like speaking on Zooms, I don't love doing it, but the more that I watch her do it, and the more that I focus on her mannerisms and how she carries herself and how she speaks and how she trains, I'm learning how to do it myself. Sue Ellen, you have like this dorky little smile. It's so cute. I love it so much. She's got like that proud mama bear smile right now. And I'm just like, you're so cute, Sue Ellen. But so basically, if it's an area of weakness, you can hire someone to teach you, which would be, for instance, when I paid for the TikTok seminar, right? I'm not strong at TikTok. I told myself this year that I was going to invest in programs and seminars and things like that in areas that I feel like I struggle with. So I've started doing that. Or just partner with someone who is really strong in that area. Like when Carly won at Auto Elite and she partnered with Tracy. Now they both get Auto Elite. There's a reason for locking arms with certain people who have strengths in certain areas because they mentor you. So next area, I'm gonna talk about an area that is not my strong suit. So the law of process, and I haven't made it very far, but the law of process, my total was 5. And 5 is the lowest for the target this law for growth. You have potential to make it strength. The law of process. Leadership develops daily, not in a day. That is just a quote, I think, from his book. So I have a concrete, specific plan for personal growth that I engage in weekly. I put 1. Again, I am trying to be as honest and transparent with myself when it comes to taking this assessment, because I want to make sure that I'm actually focusing on the areas that I need to focus on, whether it be growth or me utilizing those strengths to teach others. So I do not make plans. I'm not an organizer. I literally have like this random spontaneous idea to test the theory of, oh God, super fans. And so I was like, if I started selling merchandise with my brand on it, who would buy it? And then all of a sudden, all of these people on Facebook were like, I'd buy it, I'd buy it, I'd buy it. And I'm like, holy crap. So I got this wild idea out of nowhere, no plan, no nothing, that I was going to start designing merchandise. And then again, a wild hair yesterday to upload that merchandise and start selling it. And it just kind of took off. So I don't plan things. However, I know that that is a weakness. That is not, I need to be better at making plans and having a specific plan to reach the goals that I have set. That's part of SMART goals, right? So I'm not the greatest at that. Yeah, that's why I hang out with Tracy. I actually, and you know what, that's a really good point, because this last week when we were on vacation, I did not utilize my planner when I got back. Like I didn't have anything in my planner for all of this past week. And I forgot the Zoom Thursday night that I was hosting. Charlie didn't go to tumbling both nights. Like last week was a mess when we got back from vacation. So yeah, I had to do my planner last night for next week. So let's see. I have found experts and mentors for key areas of my life with whom I engage on a regular basis. I gave that a 3. Evidence being Tracy, Courtney, so on and so forth. So to promote my professional growth, I have read at least 6 books or taken at least one worthwhile class or listened to 12 or more audio lessons per year for the last 3 years. I put 1. And I only put 1 because I took that TikTok seminar like 2 months ago. That's the only reason I gave myself a 1, because I might have all the books. Like Jared even displayed my books for me nicely in the hutch. I have all my books, but I have not read all of them. So it does me no good. It does not, I bought a new one, bought another one. Does me no good just to own the books. I have to open them. So I rated that a 1. So the total for that law is 5. So I'll backtrack to law number 2, which is the law of influence. The true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. I rely on influence rather than on my position or title to get others to follow me or do what I want. I rated that a 3, because whether I am a 200K or a 4K, I truly believe that my impact and the influence that I bring to the team and to Lavelle as a whole and what I do on my social media is why people follow me. I do not think that people follow me because I am a 200K. I mean, I'm sure it helps, but I don't think that way. I still think it's weird when people freak out over me because I'm just a normal person. During discussions or brainstorming settings, people turn to me and ask for my advice. I put 2, and I think that's just me like, I don't know, I could probably have put 3 because I feel like people do ask me for advice a lot. But again, I think it's weird. So I'm just like, oh, maybe that doesn't happen that often. I don't know. So I put 2, and then I rely on my relationships with others rather than the organizational systems and procedures to get things done. And I put 3 because I'm very relationship based. I focus more so on my relationships with others than I do anything else. I want to know what you guys are getting so far. If you're taking the assessment, if you're grading yourself, like what are you guys getting for these laws? We've gone over 3 laws so far, and I kind of went through the last 2 pretty quickly, but I can go over them again if we need to. I'm not going to be able to do all 21 laws tonight. That's just a lot. I see Courtney typing, so I'm kind of waiting to say. So far, what's your weakness and which is your strongest? My strongest is the law of addition, which is law number 5. And my weakest is the law of process, law number 3. So law of addition, leaders add value by serving others. Rather than being annoyed when team members have issues preventing them from doing their jobs effectively, I see the issues as an opportunity to serve and help those people. I put 3. Because I don't typically get annoyed when team members come to me with issues, and I try to use whatever issues or tribulations people are going through as like a life lesson or a way to learn from that experience. Because as I've been promoting and like growing and all of those things, I've learned to see things as how is this helping me? How is this happening for me versus how is this happening to me? And that has dramatically changed the way I view, almost everything. The second question, I look for ways to make things better for the people I lead. That's 3. Because if you're struggling, obviously I want to find a way to help make things better. What can we do to problem solve, not problem explain? I find great personal satisfaction in helping other people become more successful. And I put 3 because that one kind of explains itself, but the better you guys do, and if I know that I helped you get to that level of success or growth or whatever, I feel better. Like, I take great pride in that. So that I got all 3s on that. So that was a 9. It's backwards on the worksheet. I'm reading out of order, so it could not be backwards on the worksheet, Haley. I'm not reading them in order. The one I just did was the 5th law, the law of addition. Sorry, I know I confused you guys. I told you I don't typically do these. This is usually her. And I point this way because she's next to me. So she might not be next to me on y'all's screen, but she's next to me on mine. The 4th law is the law of navigation. Anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course. I got a 6 on that one. And the first question, I spot problems, obstacles, and trends that will impact the outcome of initiatives the organization puts into place. I put a 2 because I'm usually pretty good at spotting problems and things like that. You're so cute. I like how you said it and then you like, she's doing great. You're doing great. I can clearly see a pathway for the implementation of a vision, including not only the process, but also the people and resources needed. So 2, I don't feel like that's my strongest area, but I'm pretty good at recognizing who can do what and who can help where. So I am called upon to plan initiatives for the department or organization. I'll put 2 for that, only because whether I want to or not, Courtney's gonna call upon me to do things. So all right, I'm gonna read the chat and see what you guys have going on. Those were the first 5 laws. I feel like that's probably a good like stopping point, and then I'll let Courtney close it out and say anything that she wants to say in regards to these. See, so Sue Ellen, on Law 4, you got a 6, and Law 5, you got a 9. That's cool. Twinsies. Stephanie, Law 2, a 7. It's not bad. So far, it looks like 6, 6, 3. I don't know, Haley, which one yours is 3 on, but that's definitely obviously an area to work on. So we can chit chat about that for sure. Because like I said, I did them out of order, so I don't remember which one that one was. Law 3. The law of process. Yeah, that one, like I said, that one's not my weakness. The only reason that I got a 3 out of that one, a 5 on that one, is because for the second question, I got a 3 because I am really good at finding experts and mentors. Yeah, Abigail, I'm gonna send, we're gonna figure out this PDF thing and I'm gonna send it in all the team chats. That way everybody can do all 21 laws as they want to. And then we'll go over, I'll probably just do like 5 each week until we get to, oh, okay. Abigail, if you scroll up, it looks like Krista sent one above so that you can open it. So we'll go over 5 a weekend, 5 a Sunday. Sounds pretty good. And then after that, we can go over what the actual work part of each law. Thank you, Haley. All right, Courtney, if there's anything that you want to go over.
Yeah, I want to encourage everybody to go ahead and get this book. I think it was like $13 on Amazon. If for some reason that's going to break the bank for you, please reach out to one of us and we will figure it out, because I absolutely think this is, again, one of the laws, right? You invest in yourself, you invest in mentors and books and audios and all these things. I'm hoping that you can take $13 and invest in yourself and get something like this, because I think this will not only help you as a leader, but it will help you cultivate other leaders. These are things that are very tangible that you can use to set very real, smart goals on, based on actual numerical data, okay? Not just, I want this, I hope for this kind of goal, but something that is actually, wow, I kind of suck at this. How can I improve? And it is something that you can actually physically and tangibly bring to your upline when you are having a one-on-one Zoom or whatever the case might be. And you can just say, hey, I've noticed that when I did my assessment on the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, that these areas were my weakest. You and your upline can then go ahead and make some goals that give you ways to improve. And over time, you can begin to measure those. Are you improving? How is it going? How do we need to change it? How are you getting better? You can also notice, what is your strong suit? How can you lean into that more? And use that to duplicate other leaders. You can begin to do this with other leaders, other people who are going to be enrolling other people. So I highly encourage you to spend the $13, $14 on Amazon to get this. I actually think that you guys should take, as soon as you get it, you take this assessment. I actually don't even think Alicia needs to give you guys 5-6 weeks to go over each question one by one. As leaders, you guys should be taking the initiative to take this assessment. Yes, the workbook. You can get the actual book too, but we are going to be using the workbook. And I think that's the best option for people right now, is the workbook. If you can only get one, that's the one we would recommend. I actually think as a leader, you should take the initiative to open up to that page and to take the assessment. If you can't get the book by next Sunday, use the link that Krista just sent in here, and that Carmen just sent in here again. Essentially, like, take the assessment, figure out what you're weak in, what you're strong in, because by the time we come and do this next week, we will definitely go over them and we will probably break down the laws. I think maybe what I probably misheard is Alicia saying, like, we'll go over 5 laws each week. Because those ones I definitely think will take more time to really break down, to help you guys figure out how to improve, why it may be a weakness, understanding them a little bit more. But as far as the actual assessment goes, I'm really, really hoping that you guys can take the initiative to do it before next Sunday, so that we can really get the ball rolling on helping you identify what may be holding you back, why you may not be growing the way that you want. Or maybe you grew, but you're wondering why you are going backwards, or why or why your team is not duplicating the knowledge you have and what you're giving them, or whatever the case might be. Because I definitely hear that that is one of the biggest things. And I also hear that when we ask people what their biggest struggle is, it's always recruiting people, finding other promoters, finding people who are just like me. And one of the things you're going to see in here is the law of magnetism, the law of influence. All of these things play into why you may or may not be finding either recruits at all or quality recruits, and how you can improve upon that. Because I have noticed, I know a few other people who have really poured into self-development and leadership, and at least my close circle has seen a drastic increase in the caliber of person that they are recruiting, because of either the questions they're asking, how they are shifting their mindset, their actions, what they put out there, because what you put out is what you attract. And all of these things. So go ahead and get this on Amazon, The 21 Laws of Irrefutable Leadership by John C. Maxwell workbook. Okay, so it's going to be like between $12 and $14. I'm a Prime member, so I think it was like 13 and free shipping. So I think at most you might find it for 14. So it's completely doable. Again, like I said, if for some reason it is absolutely not, absolutely, then please reach out to one of us. We'll figure it out. Or get with somebody who's close with you and Zoom with them a couple times a week and go over it together.
Yeah, mine came pretty quick too, Sue Ellen.
Yeah, I actually think
hers came in like 24 hours. She ordered it last night when I messaged everybody, and I was like, get the book. And yeah. I do think that honestly, I'll probably, and I don't know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'll probably order more just to have on hand for like new promoters that sign on. Like if I'm going to send like a new promoter welcome kit, I just genuinely feel like this is a good welcome to the team. You're about to be a boss babe type of gift. So, and I just added in the chat some little cliff notes from the introduction of the book. I don't know if anybody's like me. I don't necessarily always read the introduction of books, but for some reason I was just flipping through and I put them in the chat, but I really like these little notes that he put. He said, as you read the following chapters, I'd like you to keep in mind 4 ideas. The laws can be learned. Some are easier to understand and apply than others, but every one of them can be acquired. And I think I typed one of them wrong, but anyway. The laws can stand alone. Each law complements all the others, but you don't need one in order to learn another. The laws carry consequences with them. Apply the laws and people will follow you. Violate or ignore them and you will not be able to lead others. He's playing a video game. He's like cracking up over there. These laws are the foundation of leadership. Once you learn the principles, you have to practice them and apply them to your life. So I think it's very important to not only apply them to your leaders, like your life as a Lavelle leader, but in all areas of your life. Kids, spouse, friends, relationships, just in general. There's a lot of really good laws in here that are going to help increase just your mindset.
Yeah, I think your relationships. Elevating who you are and holding yourself to a different standard of professionalism and leadership. And influence is something that doesn't come if you just did it because you're a Thrive promoter, because you're ranked, or because of whatever. If you can't influence people overall in your entire life, Thrive aside, then that law of influence does not apply to you. Because you know, you should have, these are all things in generality in just who you are. Could you go be, you can maybe be a leader here, but could you go be a leader somewhere else? Could you go be a leader in a Fortune 500 company? Could you go be a general manager of a store? Could you go get shift manager at McDonald's? Could you go do this, right? Would you be elected the captain of whatever sports team? you did, right? Like that's the kind of mentality I want you to get in. Don't just think of it like, oh, I'm only going to cultivate these skills for Lavelle, for Thrive, and just do this, because that's really not being a leader at your core or cultivating leadership at your core. And trust me when I say you want to do it that way, because it's so much simpler and
Yeah.
feels so much more natural, as opposed to, because basically if you're just doing it for Lavelle, then you're faking the funk, and
Yeah.
people can really see right through that when they get to know who you are, when they see you on getaways, when they go to Palooza with you, when they see you on the street, when they see what you're posting on social media, when they hear things spoken behind their, whatever the case might be. It really is just an essence of who you are. And I think with it carries a lot of influence and impact and respect, which is really where I think a lot of that stuff is made, won or lost in leadership. Like there are people that we all look to in this industry, and I want you to think about like, why is that? And if you saw them at an event or something, right, and all of a sudden they felt very disjointed, like who they were and what they portrayed online, and it maybe in their lives or courses was drastically different. You know, you saw them getting, you know, schmammered on Bourbon, you know, like it's just different when it's like it's fun. But if they're just a completely different person and they're like, oh, I'm only this person when I'm at work, you are either a respectable person who can let loose and have fun every once in a while, or you're just two different entities. And that's where a lot of people may be struggling, is you may be thinking, I'm just cultivating it for this and not in general. So I want you to kind of apply it to your life overall, right?
Yeah.
So are you influencing the people around you, your friends, your family, your neighbors, your community, you know, your audience
I
online?
was even gonna say, I've noticed that in a lot of the areas that I've grown just as a person, it's definitely bled over into how I am a parent to Charlie. And I've noticed her emulating a lot of the really positive things that I'm doing or saying on a regular basis. It's very similar to what you see on social media, where it'll be like a mom who's, you know, talking bad about her body and her daughter is standing right there, and they're like, what you say is what they learn. And if you're talking negatively about your body, then they're going to think something's wrong with theirs, right? So the way that I speak on Zooms, or the way that I'm speaking to my husband or my friends or whatever, she's listening to all of that. And so if I'm carrying myself in that way all of the time, then so is she. And I think that's my constant reminder, because when I hear her say things like, Mommy, I got the coaches award today, I'm so proud of myself. Like, she celebrates herself, and then she celebrates her friends as well while she's there. And so she's just learning so many different things that I know she's learning from me. And that's why I do what I do. And that's why I say, definitely take these lessons and these laws and just everything that you dive into as a Lavelle promoter, and just apply them to all areas of your life, because it's going to significantly change just the way you carry yourself and the way your family carries themselves and your friends and just everything. I promise.
Yep. It really does also just change who you are at the core, and just elevates who you are as a person. And trust me when I say that the people that when you start looking at people who are incredibly successful, those who can sustain that success really embody all of these laws. They truly do have a lot of these qualities. They are problem solvers. They are connected to their team. They are integrated into the community. They are, you know, they have influence. They have, you know, all of these things. So it's like looking to people that you look up to in any industry, it doesn't even have to be this one, and think what laws, as you begin to read the book, think and write down next to each law who you feel like embodies that, right? It could be a celebrity, it could be an author, it could be a speaker, it could be a podcast person, it could be anybody. But I want you to literally attach somebody, you know, a physical person that you have seen or listened to or really like, write their name down next to that law, so you have something to attach to it, and you have something to look at and go, I want to be more like that, I want to do more of that. You know, and that's why I think it really helps surrounding yourself with people who are better than you in certain areas. Most people seek comfort, they seek to stay the same, they seek homeostasis. So they will find people who are either doing the same as them or worse than them. If you find people who are doing worse than you, it makes you feel better, right? I encourage you, and I even dare you to surround yourself with people you feel like are better than you. And what I mean is not like they are actually better than you, but they are better than you at making money, at speaking on Zooms, at doing this, do all these things you want to grow in. Find those people who are better at it than you and hang out with them, talk with them, surround yourself with them, because I guarantee within a certain time frame, you will become better at those things inevitably, because you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around most. That's why Jessie Lee said, I got time to change my inner circle because I got to start hanging out with billionaires, right? Because she's like, I'm already a millionaire, so I got to start hanging out with billionaires now. She's like, you should always be, the little fish in a big pond. Always. As soon as you find yourself being the big fish in a little pond, time to find a new pond. Because that's the day that you stop growing, right? A plant in a pot that's too small stops growing. You have to keep repotting it so it can continue to grow to its fullest potential. So I really hope you guys make the sacrifice to get this book. I know for some of you guys it will be a sacrifice, but I encourage you to really make the best of it, really dive into it, utilize it to grow yourself, to grow your team, and to grow your confidence, really. And I think we've learned this for several weeks, that confidence really is key when it comes to recruiting people, when it comes to leadership and having that true, alpha energy. So, Alicia, is there anything you want to say before we close out? No? Okay.
Nope, I think that was a good closer.
Perfect. But all right, guys, thank you so much for making time. Happy Valentine's Day to you and your spouses and your partners. We love you guys so much, and we will see you on tomorrow's Mindset Zoom. So stay tuned for that. Have a good one.